Hi guys, good evening. Guys, if you are able to see my screen, just type S in the chat box so that we can get started. Yeah, thanks for the confirmation. So guys, today we are starting API testing. There is a manual API testing. Okay, so let's begin. Fine. So these are the notes I have. I'll share these notes with you. Don't worry. What I can do here is just go to the Google Drive and create a folder here. Here I'll create a folder. I'll just name this as API testing using Postman. And then I'll rename this and put some 2 dot or 3 dot here. Okay, so in this, I'm going to create a Google Docs. I'll just name this as something like, API testing notes. Fine. So I'll open this one, the first one. Simply say otherwise, I'll simply do one thing. Just give me a second. I'll just download this. So I have downloaded this zip file. I'll extract this. Extract. Once extracted, we have this folder with these files. I'll do one thing. I'll just provide these notes for you here. Right click, folder upload. And here are the notes. This is a folder I want to upload. So tomorrow, if you want this, you can come to this Google Drive location and then you can access the notes that I am using here. Fine. I'll just go inside this and open this file. I can download this also. Let's download this. Okay. So how can I increase the size here so that you can see it properly? Here we have the icons. Yeah. Just try to increase as much as possible. Okay. Hope you are able to see the notes. Right? So guys, before we start performing any API testing, we need to first understand what exactly is an API. Theoretically, we need to understand. If you don't understand this concept, you will not understand why API testing and all those stuff. Okay? Fine. So let's get started with this API testing. What is API testing? What is the full form of API, guys? Everyone type in the chat box, what is the full form of API? You can clearly see here what is the full form of API. API stands for what? Application Programming Interface. What is API? API stands for Application Programming Interface. And there is no proper definition for APIs, guys. Okay, in the beginning itself, I am telling you, try to understand the API. Don't worry about definitions and all. Okay, don't search for definitions and all. Understanding is very, very important. API stands for Application Programming Interface. That's what API is. Fine. As you already know, there are different layers of the application, right? There are different layers of the application. One is presentation layer. Second one is business layer. Third one is database layer. In the business layer, we generally get APIs, okay? We'll get APIs in the business layer. I'll explain all this stuff now, okay? First of all, API stands for Application Programming Interface. And what are the different layers of APIs I'm going to cover now. Just see what I'm trying to cover. Just see here, okay? Let's say this is your computer machine. This is your laptop or something, okay? This is your laptop. In your laptop, let's say you opened one browser, let's say Chrome browser or something. Let's say this is a laptop, right? In the laptop, you opened the browser, okay? You opened this browser like Chrome browser or some browser. And in the browser, okay, let's say you opened the browser like this. In this browser, we have opened the application page URL. That is qfox.com, let's say, okay? Let's say you have opened this website known as qfox.com. So here you have hit the URL, that is https://www.qfox.com you have opened, okay? You have hit this URL. The moment you hit this URL in your laptop in one of the browser, the moment you hit the URL, what will happen? A request will be sent to the server. A request will be sent to the server. Let's say this is a server machine. This is a server machine. Okay, a request is being sent to the server. Okay, a request is being sent to the server. Yes. So when you hit this URL, what is happening? Or else I'll do one thing, guys. I just okay, I don't know what I've done. Just reduce it a bit. I don't want to occupy this much of space. So we'll do one thing. A request will be sent to the server. Here itself, I'll draw the server. A request will be sent to the server. Okay. A request will be sent to the server machine. Server machine. A request is being sent to the server machine. And server machine will process the request. Okay. Server machine will receive this request and send a response back to the client machine. Okay, here a request is being sent to the server. The moment you hit the URL in one of the browser in your computer machine or your laptop, a request is being sent to the server, and server machine has processed your request, and after processing, the result of the processing as a response has been sent back to the client machine here. Okay, a response has been sent back to the client machine here. This is what happens. And the laptop or computer machine where in one of the browser where you have hit the URL is called as a client. And the kind of machine which has processes this particular request and send a response back to the client is, okay, a server. Okay, so after processing the request, okay, the result is being sent back to the client. That is called as a response. That is called as what? That is called as response, right? Request and response. A request is being sent by the client to the server machine, and server machine has, processed the request and sent a response back to the same client machine which has sent the request to the server machine. Imagine this diagram as a tea stall. Okay, server machine. Imagine that server machine in real world as a tea stall. So we all go to the tea stall, right? If you want to drink some tea, what we'll do? We'll go to the tea stall. And once we go to the tea stall, we'll ask that tea guy who is serving the tea, right, to give the tea. Okay, we request for the tea to the tea stall person. What the tea stall person or server machine will do, will process, will prepare the tea. Tea stall person will prepare the tea. Here, server machine, like the tea stall person, instead of preparing the tea, will process this request. Okay, you asked for tea, and tea will be prepared here by the server machine. And after the tea has been prepared by the server machine, a response will be sent back to the client machine. That means the tea which is ready is being given to you. Okay, since you have requested, the prepared tea will be given to you. Okay, that is the response you will get. Okay, you asked for tea, tea was prepared here, and the prepared tea is given to you. This is how you need to understand real world example, guys. Okay, the client machine is you. Okay, and server machine is a tea stall person. You have requested for tea, And the tea stall person has prepared the tea here as part of processing the request. The tea has been prepared, and once the tea is ready, has given to you as a response. Simple. Okay. This is the easiest way to understand. Fine. That's all good. So client has requested the server machine and server machine has processed the request and we got the response. All this is good. So let me make it this example more clear. Okay. What happens in real time? Let's say, you see, I am the owner of this website, right? I am the owner of this qfox.com website. Now, I request every one of you, each one of you, to open this qfox.com in your computer machine. Do it once. Try to browse qfox.com in your machine and let me know whether you are able to get this page or not. If you are able to see this particular page, okay, you open a browser, any browser. In that browser, you give this address, qfox.com and hit it. And if you are getting this page, then confirm me here. Say S kind of stuff. Okay, you can type S in the chat box if you're able to see this response. I mean, whatever the result on the page. If you are able to see this particular page, now tell me, guys. Now tell me if you are able to see this particular page on your in the browser by hitting this URL. Now tell me, the code that is written by the developers for building this application, is it there in your machine? Is it available in your computer machine? Tell me. No. Then how you are getting this particular thing? In my machine, that's okay. You may have a doubt. Okay, I may have this code, so this page is coming. You may have a doubt, right? But how this page is coming? Where is the code? Some developers have written this particular code. Okay. You see, I am the owner of this website. I have developed this particular application and have developed this code as a developer also. But did I put this code in my computer machine or your computer machine? No. Then where is the code? Where the code has been kept? Yes, in the server machine. Okay. The code is written in the code is there in the server machine. Here, here the code that is required, that is written by developers for developing the application, that is QFox application, actual code of that application is written in the, has been put into the or hosted in the which machine? The actual code that is required for building this qfox.com is put in which machine? Server machine. Okay. I asked you, the code that is written for developing the qfox.com is there in your machine? I asked you. You said, no, we don't have any such kind of code for qfox.com application, but still we are getting the application you told me. But where is the code? I asked you. The code is there in the server machine. Then where is the server machine? Next question is, yes, the code is written by developers for building this qfox.com is hosted in the server machine. Using which programming language this particular code has been written? Can anyone tell me? For this qfox.com, what is the code? In which programming language the code that is required for developing this qfox.com is written? Tell me. HTML? Is it HTML? Is it Java? Is there any way to find it out? Which programming language was used for developing this qfox.com? Is there any way to find it out? Okay. Let's find it out. If that is possible, let's find it out. Just give me a second. I'll let you know how to do it. There is some website, guys, using which you can try. Okay. Let's find it out. What is the website that I can use here? Okay. I'm trying to figure out what is the tool. I don't remember that. I'm just thinking that is nothing but Vapalizer or something. I don't know, but I'll try. What is this Vapalizer? Yeah, find out what websites are built with, right? So this is a website, guys, Vapalizer. Okay. In this Vapalizer, you copy your application page URL and paste it here. and search. Technology lookup. Click on select that. So it will take a while. You see, it's scanning your website and finding out what developers, which programming language the developers have used for building this qfox.com website. Okay, let's see. Let's find it out. You can use this tool. Vapala is a tool which will scan any website and tell you which programming language has been used by the developers for building the application that you are actually testing or using. Okay, let's wait until this gives you the results. So, but meanwhile, these results come in. Let me tell you that. Let me tell you that developers will use which type of languages here? Backend programming languages. Everyone type in the chat box. Which type of programming languages for building the applications they will use? Backend programming languages. Okay. Backend programming languages will be used for developing the application. Developers will use backend programming language for developing the application. Some examples of the backend programming languages are Java. Any other examples for backend programming languages are Java? Yes. Python? Yes. C Sharp.net? C Sharp.net? Then? Yes. C++ can be used. Okay. Then all these are the backend programming languages, guys. Okay. Yes. PHP, Perl. Many programming languages are there in the market, like Go. Many are there. Okay. Yes. Ruby also. Ruby. And etc. etc. Many will be there. So these are generally the backend programming languages. Out of all these backend programming languages, which backend programming language the developer have used for building this qfox.com, and that developed code which was built with the help of any of this backend programming language was put into the server machine, was hosted into a server machine. Okay, we'll go slowly, guys. No need to hurry up. The concepts are very important, no matter you master in API testing, any other type of things and all, the fundamentals are important. Okay, we rush up in real world, we rush up and will not try to understand what are the real concepts. Okay, so these are the very important things. Whatever I'm covering here are very important concepts. Without this, we will not understand API testing in proper way. Okay, everyone can say API test, API means this and that, but the actual fundamentals no one will explain to you, but I am covering. Okay, so listen it carefully. So meanwhile, did we get any results? You see, it's kind of very slow. It's not able to fetch. Let it do its job. Okay, any of this programming language have been used by the developer of this qfox.com application to develop the code that is required for building the application, and that code was hosted into the server machine. Clear, right? So far clear, right? Okay, so far clear, right? How the backend programming language will be used, like Java or Python or something, will be used for building the code. Okay, for writing the code for developing this qfox.com application. Now, that kind of code I cannot, right click here. Is it possible to right click here, inspect and then find out like, is there any way? Anyone have any way here? qfox in PHP, how did you find? Vinod, how did you find? Any process you have followed to find, Vinod? You said it is in PHP, right? How did you guess it? Okay, maybe from my last time discussion, last time when I have explained, I explained that, right? But is there any other way you found it out? Like, is there any other way from the, by inspecting the HTML code or something, are we able to find? No, right? I'm not able to find. Maybe there may be some ways also, we don't know. But yeah, it's not so easy. So the only thing is that we have to wait for these results, guys. Somehow the results are not coming. Okay, it's taking too much of time. That's okay. Still loading, loading, loading. Yeah. But I know the answer. It's PHP, guys. Okay. So later when the results come, we'll look into that. But assume that for now, the developers who have built this qfox.com application have used PHP as a programming language, as a backend programming language for building this qfox.com. That code written by the developers using the PHP backend programming language for building the qfox.com application is hosted into the server machine. Okay. Now tell me another. Now tell me another. Okay, now answer another question that I am going to ask you. That is, Okay, the code is now available. Am I having any server machine? I'm that taking care of it 24 by 7 in my at my home. Do I have another machine at my home? The people who already know don't answer this, okay? The one who are new to this can answer. It's like very curious kind of thing for them, right? Let's not waste their curiosity here. Okay, if you already have known these concepts, just ignore, okay? Fine. Thing is, am I maintaining any separate server machine at my home along with the laptop that I'm using and sharing my screen here that you can see? Am I maintaining another computer machine along with my laptop where I'm hosting the code and using that as a server machine and running the code and all those stuff? No, I'm not using anything. You see, what is the headache of me using a separate machine and converting that into server machine and hosting the code there and all those stuff? The headache is I need to keep it on 24 by 7, right? I need to keep it on 24 by 7. I have to make sure that it should not go down. Power supply should be continuous, internet supply should be there. Everything I have to take care of, right? And I also have to make sure that since it is running 24 by 7, okay, the kind of environment in which the machine is running, the place where the machine is running should be kind of cool. I need to, just adjust some AC temperature here because of the temperature conditions in different places, right? In my place, now it's summer, right? Maybe hot, so the machines will get heat up. Okay. Yes, right. So lot of issues will be there if I have to maintain a separate machine here, another physical separate machine and hosting the code there and running it from there. I have to take care of a lot of other stuff. So it's not viable for me. Is it a viable option for me, guys? Is this a viable option for me? No, it's not a viable option for me. Okay, is there another website, Vinod? w3tix.sites website, something you are saying? Okay, let's try that website. Yeah, this is a website we have used, right? I think what is Vapalizer all about? Vapalizer also should work, but somehow it's taking time. I'll use this another website. Oh, it's quickly came. I don't have to wait so much of time with Vapalizer. Okay. W3Text. So when I use this W3Text website and hit the URL, immediately I got the thing. Here server side programming language or backend programming language I have used for developing this QFox.com application is what? PHP. Did I develop? Someone is asking me in the chat box, like, did I develop this application, QFox.com application? Did I develop? The answer is no. I didn't develop, guys. Assume that I am the developer. I am just explaining that, but I am not the real developer. Okay. So what I did is I went to this website known as OpenCart. I went to the website known as OpenCart, and this OpenCart is another company. Okay. Here, free download option is there. I clicked on the free download option because developing an application will take a lot of time. Okay. So not this one, guys. Sorry. This is like tutorials in the application, right? So what about this one? Okay. QFox.com. Did I develop? The answer is no. What I have done is, what I have done this for QFox.com website is, I have installed a template, guys. Okay. If you go down, uh, there is a template, guys. Okay. There is a template actually. WordPress template. I have used a WordPress template. Okay. This site is built using WordPress. Okay, there's something known as WordPress. I don't want to go there, but technically speaking, I will normally say that I have built this application. But how did I build the application? I didn't write any code in PHP, but all the things are ready-made. Okay, when you go to a shop, ready-made shirts and dresses are available, right? The way I have done the same thing. Okay, someone has already developed it for me. I'm using. I have used a template, but I customized the template according to my needs. Okay, I'm the partial developer, you can say. I'm not a full developer of this application. Partial developer is, instead of writing the code, I have taken the use of some kind of softwares and all, which can build the application for me. Such kind of software is nothing but WordPress, and other one is a template. I wanted a particular template. I use that template, and also along with that, I have used some other thing which using which I can design the homepage also. Okay, all these things I have done, guys. All these things I have done. Okay. So somehow assume that for a while, assume that don't go depth, assume that I am the one who developed the application. Okay. Somehow using the WordPress or any other tools and all, I have developed the application. The language that I have used here is the backend programming languages that I have used for developing the application is what? PHP. Now, after developing the application using the backend programming language known as PHP and all, what did I do? This code I hosted in a server machine. Okay, the code that I have used for developing the application I hosted in the server machine. But where is the server machine? Is the server machine also at my home? Okay, no, I don't want to maintain it. Maintenance will be very high for that. I have to keep it running 24 by 7 and I have to supply the internet to it, supply the cool, I have to run it in a cool temperature and, have to take care of the, security problems. No one should come and turn it off, A lot of things will happen at your house, right? I have to, that involves a lot of budget. I am not in such kind of position where you can maintain a server. So what I did is, I don't want to waste so much of money, right? So what I did here is I went to a hosting provider. Okay. Anyone know different hosting providers? There are different hosting providers like Hostinger, HostGator, okay, Hosting Raja, Bluehost, Big Rock, Namecheap, GoDaddy. Okay. Like that, many websites are there. But which hosting provider have chosen? Okay. Which hosting provider have chosen? I have chosen a hosting provider known as SiteGround. Okay. As I got some recommendation by one of my friend, I got to know that this SiteGround is very good one. Okay, the quality is very good, so I went with SiteGround. This is the website I went there, siteground.com website, and here web hosting. I went to the web hosting, and I generally take up a 2 years plan and all 1 year or 2 years plan and all those stuff, because I'll get a benefit, price benefit and all. So what the SiteGround people will do? SiteGround people will maintain a separate server machine for me. They'll maintain a server space for me where I can host my code and make my code available for you in the form of qfox.com website. That's what SiteGround people can do. Will they do it for free? Will the SiteGround people will do it for free? No, right? Everything is chargeable, right? They will charge me some money, right? They are maintaining a server space for me where I can host my PHP written code for developing the application, which I've used for developing the application. Okay. If you are going to stay in a house for which you are going to pay a rent, right? Similarly, I'm not the owner of that server machine that SiteGround is people are taking care of. They are renting me the space. They are renting me the computer for me, okay, as a server services for me. I'm just uploading my code there and taking the benefit of them, okay? Not only me, guys, SiteGround people are doing it for lot of people around the globe. So that is their business. They are focused on this business. Fine. So they charge me good amount of money. Okay. Like it will be around, 1500 per month or something. But I need to pay it, to get that benefit of 1500 per month, right? I need to pay it for 2 years. Okay. Just imagine how much amount I would have paid. Okay. So it will be around, 25,000 to 30,000. I remember, guys. Okay. 30 or 35,000 also. Okay. Around something. I don't remember exactly. 25, 28, 30, 35. I don't remember. That amount I have to pay it a go. Like I get the server space for 2 years. Like that, guys. Okay. You see? Hosting and I'll start now. You just click on the start now and you will get the plans here. Okay. I'm in a startup plan, guys. Okay. I'm in a startup plan discounted from per month or something. Okay. They are giving me something. Okay. That's okay. I have paid some amount, for getting a proper thing and all. And these are the benefits. Okay. How much space are they giving? I think mine is, I may host one website, uh, this web space, how much traffic will be allocated and all those stuff. And you see, I can auto install it. Okay. It will be very easy for me to install my application there. Okay. Then a lot of other stuff. Okay. So this is a hosting provider. Okay. Hosting providers are there in the market. Okay. Where they will provide me the server space. Will they give me the entire server? Yes. Will they give me the entire server for me? No. Some space. You see, when you try to stay in a hostel, what will happen when you try to stay in a hostel? Think about taking the entire room, 2 BHK, 3 BHK room. Will it be costly for you? Yes, costly, right? To what you will do to, reduce the cost? You will tie up with other people. You will meet other friends, 3 to 4 or 5 friends, depending on your comfort and all. Who are you are comfortable with your friends and all. Five of your friends. It's a 3 BHK. Let's say there are five of your friends. Along with you, five people are there. You all will go and stay in that place. What will happen? Sharing will happen. What is the benefit of the sharing? For example, you have to pay a rent of 50,000 rupees. It's very nearby to the company where you are working, that hosting that space where you are taking the rent of. It's 50,000 rupees per month. Then what will happen? Every one of you will pay 10,000 rupees. Which one is better? 10,000 is cheaper or 50,000 is cheaper? 10,000 is cheaper. Similarly, when I hosted my qfox.com application, they didn't give me the entire house for rent. Okay. They didn't give me the entire server space for rent. What they have given me? Only, you know, they have given me some portion because I'm sharing with others. Okay, I don't know who are the other people, but my website is properly running, so I'm just not worried about it. Okay, I'm sharing with others. Okay, they are allocating only some portion of the space, not the entire server machine they are giving to me. Okay, they are allocating only some space to me. That space I'm okay with that. Whatever the space they are assigning me, I'm good with that. Okay, I've taken the space and hosted the code there. The SiteGround application, they have the I can log into the SiteGround. SiteGround will have a login functionality and all. You see, login will be there, and you need to enter the credentials here. Once you enter your credentials, right? Once you enter the credentials and login, right, you will see all the interface like how to host your PHP written code for building the which you have used for building the kfox.com. You can host into the SiteGround. The moment you host your application there, right, by hosting your code there, right, in the server machine, the code will be available in the server machine, and here, the server, every machine will have an IP address, yes or no? Every machine will have an IP address, yes or no? Tell me, guys. Every machine will have an IP address, right? So, IP address will be given to you. Okay. After hosting your PHP written code, which was used for building this application, the server machine IP address will be given to you. 192.0.169.75, like that, some IP address has been given to you. Now, if you ask every one of the users, did you use IP address to access this website in your machine? Guys, did you use this IP address here or what did you use? You have typed qfox.com, right? Have you typed the IP address of the server machine? Have you typed the IP address of the server machine? No. The answer is no, guys. You have not typed the IP address of the server machine. Then without typing the IP address of the server machine, by typing the qfox.com domain name, we got the website page. So how this is happening? Here, the server machine will have the IP address. I need to map the IP address. I need to, at a high level, I'll not go deep. I'll not go deep. Okay. A lot of things will be there here. How to configure and all. That is a separate subject actually. This IP address of the server machine, using some configurations and all, what you will do, you will map with the domain name. You will map with what? Domain name. Is the domain name free? Is the domain name free? No. Domain name, again, you have to pay the price. Okay. The server machine space given by SiteGround in my case is not free. And also the domain name also I need to purchase. So what are the different places I can get the domain name from? There are different websites, GoDaddy. I can go to godaddy.in or something. And, I'll go to the website and here I'll search for example, if I search for Amazon, amazon.com. Remember, right? Search domains. Is it available? Amazon.com will be available for you. Guys, is Amazon.com available for you? No, right? Amazon.com is not available. It's taken by company, right? You see, whatever the domain you want means it will not get it. If it is available only, you will get it. Let's search for some domain. Okay. Let's search for some domain. API testing. Okay. Learning. API testing learning and search it. Let's see whether this website is available or not. Is it available? Is it available? API testing learning.com is available? Yes, it is available. It's not taken by anyone. Like this, I found the qfox.com website. Why did I choose a qfox? Because only two words are there. I have followed some best practices, like only two words should be there, not more than two words should be there, and the number of letters also should be less. That's the reason I compromised for qfox.com. Okay, qfox is a kind of thing people can remember. It's not a very big name. Okay, quality assurance testing.com, that will be very big, right? So instead, I try to find something which I can, which is like of less number of characters and less number of words. Okay, so as per the best practices of the domain name conventions and all, I found that. Okay, you see this one, this is like very big name. Okay, like that. Okay, depending on your requirements and all, you will have to search for the domain name. If it is available, when you say make it yours, they'll ask you for pay the amount. Just say continue and all, they'll ask you to pay. How much they are charging me? Initially, they are charging me less amount, but later next year they'll charge you high, guys. Okay, 49.92 per month means almost around 500 rupees you are getting, maybe, right? 500 to 600 rupees you are getting it. But next year onwards, you will get it for 1200 rupees or 1300 rupees you have to pay. Initially, they will provide for free because they want you to get started with. Okay, they want you to not compromise with the website domain name, so they'll give you the offer. Once you take it out and start using it, at later point of time after 1 year is over, they'll charge you, they'll send you a bill of 1200 per month. Okay, something around. So like that, I purchased the domain name from one of the domain name providers like GoDaddy.in, etc. And after getting the domain name, I mapped the domain name that I got from at that time when I started geofox.com website, right? After hosting all this stuff, what I did, I purchased this geofox.com domain name and mapped it to the IP address. Once I mapped it, there's no need for any of you to type the IP address in the browser. Rather, you can simply type the domain name, qfox.com domain name in the browser, and this will point out to the IP address. This will get mapped to the IP address of the server machine. Once it hits the IP address indirectly, the code inside the server machine will run, appropriate code in the server machine will run, and you will be able to, okay, some code will get processed and the response of that will come here and you will be able to get the page. This is what happens in real time, guys. Okay. So here, what you have done, guys, you have hit the URL, okay, with the domain name that we got, right, which is mapped to the IP address of server machine. You have hit in the client machine, in your laptop or computer machine, in one of the browser, you have hit the URL. That URL has sent a request saying that someone is requesting for something. How this request will travel to the server machine? Where is my server machine available? Where is my server machine available? In which location my server machine is available? Can someone tell me, like, in which location my server machine is available? The server is somewhere in the Singapore. Okay. So if I log into the, this one, SiteGround and all, right, I'll be able to get it. Okay. I don't remember the credentials. Okay. Whenever I need, I just go there and, try to log in there. But, okay, at this moment, I cannot do. I don't remember the credentials, so I cannot show you. Okay. I don't remember them. That's okay. If you log in, you will understand where the server is hosted. As per my knowledge, the server machine given by the server space or server machine space that is given to me by SiteGround people, right, is there in which location? Singapore location. Singapore location. But where is my laptop? I'm in Hyderabad. Hyderabad location. Hyderabad, India. Okay. Hyderabad, India, guys. Okay. In India, Hyderabad is the place I stay. My laptop is here. The URL I'm hitting is being hit from Hyderabad, but the URL, the request, okay, that you are requesting for this website is being sent to server machine, which is there in the Singapore. How the transport is happening, how it is traveling, how the request you have sent is traveling via email or via telephone call, it is going. No, right? Some way it should go, right? Okay, via internet, guys. Okay, via internet. Via internet. How the request is being sent to the server machine? Via internet. Okay. You see, you guys are staying at which location? Everyone type in the chat box from which location you guys are. I'm from Hyderabad, right? Okay. Akshay is from Mumbai. Okay. Venkata is from Pune. Surya is also from Hyderabad. Preeti is from Ahmedabad. Srikanth is from Mumbai. Amit is from Jaipur. Okay. Then PM Faizan is from Chennai. Vijayasree is from Bangalore. So different. Maruti is from Karnool. Okay. Siddesh is from Mysore. Anusha is from Andhra Pradesh. Kavita is from Yavatmal. Pooja Singh is from United Kingdom. Different locations. But how we are connected? I am teaching you via the internet only, right? Zoom meeting. Zoom meeting. The transport mechanism is via internet. Similarly, when you hit the URL, request is being sent the same fashion over the internet, guys. Internet is a travel mechanism here, right? Through internet. Here, request is also traveling via the internet and going to the Singapore location where the server machine is available. That's what is happening. Okay. Here, internet, there are different transport mechanisms. For example, you want to go from town A to town B. There are different ways of going from place A to place B. What are the different ways? You can travel by a bike. You can go by bike. Or you can travel by a car. You can travel via train. Okay. You can travel via flight. You can travel via ship. Whatever that is. Bus. Okay. Many other ways are there. Okay. Train and many other stuff. Here, similarly, when someone is traveling over internet, something is traveling over internet, there are different vehicles. The main important vehicle that people use is HTTPS protocol. HTTP or HTTPS protocol, we generally say this is a protocol. Okay, this is a protocol, guys. Protocol. Okay, the protocol via which a request is being sent to the server machine via the internet is the HTTP or HTTPS protocol is a protocol. Okay, the request will be traveling. Okay, to the server machine. Once the server machine will receive this request, what will happen? Once the server machine will receive the request, what will happen? The code that is related for this particular URL website page to come will be running. Not all the code, only let's say this lines of the code is being run. This part of the code is being run, let's assume. When this code has been run, a request came and because of the request, some portion of the code in the server machine is run and some solution came. The solution will be sent back to the client machine again using the same protocol over the internet, via the internet only. Okay, using the HTTP or HTTP protocol, a response will be sent back to the client machine. A response will be sent back to the client machine, guys. Okay, via using HTTP or HTTPS protocol, a response is being sent back to the client machine. What does this response will contain? Here, request will contain the request URL. Based on this website address you have done, request URL will be sent over the request. What will be the response coming as? What will be the response coming back as? The response will be in the form of what? HTML, CSS, JavaScript, cookies, tokens, and many other stuff. Depending on the type of the request and the processed thing, response may contain this kind of stuff. Once this response go to the client machine, who can understand this response, guys? Who in the client machine can understand the response? Which software in the client machine can understand this response to display the web page? Yes, browser. Here in the computer machine, there is a browser. Okay. It's a client machine that we are using. In that client machine, we are open the browser. Browser can understand this HTML, CS, JavaScript, cookies, etc. and all the stuff. Browser will read this response and accordingly render the website page. That's how you are getting the using this HTML, CSS and send as a response by server machine to the client machine. The browser will display the website page for us. This kind of website page is coming because whatever the HTML, CSS, JavaScript code that is coming from the server machine will be understood by the browser in which we are hitting the URL, and that response HTML, CSS and JavaScript will be presented to you in this format. This is what is happening behind the scenes. This is what is happening behind the scenes, guys. Able to understand, guys? Able to understand the concepts so far? Great. Okay. This is what is very important. This is what is very important. Now, the next thing here is, sometimes what happens is, assume that I'll take you to another application. This application, let's assume for a while, this application I've taken to you. I'll go to the login page of this application. And in the login page, when I enter the credentials, okay, I'll enter some credentials here. some valid email address, valid password I'm entering. And the moment I click on the login button, what will happen? The moment I click on the login button, for example, here, some username is there, some password field is there on the login page, some username field is there, some password field is there, and you know, there is a button, let's say login button. Okay. When you hit this login button, again a request will be sent to the server. Another request will be sent to the server. Here, there are different type of requests, right? The first request is different from the second type of request. Let's say you went to a tea stall, guys. You'll be sent to a tea stall. In the tea stall, okay, when you are before the tea stall, you may ask for normal tea. Some people may ask for ginger tea. Some people will ask for lemon tea. Is it so? Yes or no? Did we ask or not, guys? Generally, we go to the tea stall and we'll ask for the same tea always. Sometimes we'll ask for coffee. Okay, black coffee, normal general coffee that will be prepared at house with milk and all. Sometimes we may ask for different type of teas will be there. Similarly, here different using when you perform different type of operations on the application, different type of requests will be sent to the server machine. When different type of requests will be sent to the server machine, this time what type of request we are sending? Login request. What type of request we are sending? This time we are sending which type of request? Login request to the server machine. Okay, here some email address will be there, some password will be there, and we are hitting the login button. The moment you hit the login button, whatever the email address you entered, whatever the password you entered, along with that, whatever the request URL, okay, what is the URL? All these three items will travel over the internet via HTTPS protocol. This request, along with the request, they will be sent. Okay. Earlier only request URL was sent. This time when I made the login request, the extra things like email address and password are being sent. And they will hit the server machine. They'll hit the server machine. Once this request will come and username password will come, some other set of code will be running. Let's say this code, this part of this portion of the application code has been run to serve the request. Okay, this request. Once this particular code in the server machine, some portion of the code, not the entire code of the server machine, some portion of the code in the server machine which is related to this login function and has run. The moment it runs, okay, the tea is getting prepared here. Okay, the server machine is preparing the tea for you, kind of stuff you have to imagine. Now this will, the resultant of this, okay, the result of this code is like, the code while running will, the code will running while running will send a kind of thing to something known as database. Every application will have a database, right? Database, okay? Backend database will be there. Okay, for the backend part of the application, a database will be there. In the database, depending on the type of the database, assume that it is RDBMS kind of software is there for managing the database. Different tables will be there in the database. Okay, data will be stored in the database in the form of tables. Data will be stored in the database in the form of what? Tables. So when you run the code here, what will happen? As part of the code, this username has come to the code and password has come to the code and code is being run. What the code will do? The code will create to interact with the database, the code will create something known as SQL query. SQL query. This code will prepare a query known as what query? SQL query. Example will be like this. Select star from, let's say there is a table known as users table here. Users, select star from users table where email is equal to email and password is equal to some password. Like that, a query will be created by this code. The code running of the code will result in creating this kind of query, and the query will be done on the database to which this application is connected to. In that, according to the users table, in the users table, okay, it will be queried. The query will be querying in, and with this email address and password, if any particular record is there in the table, that this database will send a response back to this particular server machine running code saying that with this email and password, a user exists in the application. A OK kind of response with some resultant record will be sent back. Record in the table will be sent back. Once the server machine will gets a positive kind of record from this users table on which the query has been run, what the server machine will do? The server machine will generate a response. The server machine will generate a response back to the client machine. Okay. This response, generally in case of login functionality, a token will be created, guys. Okay. Session token will be created. Token is like an ID card that you need for entering into a company, right? If you join a particular company, okay, an ID card is required, right? Similarly, token is something, once the token is received into the browser, right? The browser using the token will help you in login to the application. You will get logged in. Okay. If the proper token has not come, you'll not be able to log into the application like that. Yes. Session token, you can say, not unit token, but session token, you can say. Okay. You can call it as a session token. That is permission for login session. Okay. Let's not make it big. What is unique? Anyhow, the ID and token will be unique only. Okay. It will be unique only. That is not the characteristics that we have to look at here. The token is in that permission that you got for logging into the application. Okay. Once the browser receives a permission, it will allow you to log into the application. That's what happens behind the scenes. And here we call this as a database, right? Database. Now, this area is called as a presentation layer. Okay. This part is called as a presentation layer, guys. Okay. This is a presentation layer. This area is called as a presentation layer. Okay. And this area is called as a which layer? Anyone remember what is the layer here? This is presentation layer. Whatever this area, it's called as a what layer? Business layer. Okay, it's called as a business layer. Yes, correct. Business layer. That's right. It's called as a business layer. Then this area is called as which layer? This area is called as database layer. Applications may contain different levels of layers, different number of layers, and this layer is called as a database layer. And some people call these two layers as two layers combined, business layer and database layer. Okay, two layers, that is business layer and database layers together can be called as a backend layer. Okay, depends on things. It's called as a backend layer. Backend layer. Okay. This business layer and okay, there's some extra functionality is coming. I can't change it. Okay. I have written the backend layer, but I cannot show you. That's okay. But if I save it, I can show you. That's okay. Editor is overlapping with the text I have written. Here, backend layer. Business layer plus database layer is nothing but the backend layer. And this presentation layer is called as a front end layer. Got it, guys? Only the presentation layer is called as a front end layer, whereas a business plus, now the editor is gone, so you can clearly see. The business layer and database layer together is called as a backend layer. Okay. Got it? This is how we need to have the knowledge, guys. Okay. Without this, people will, rush in to software testing and different type of testings and they'll not understand anything. A lot of people who are working in the industry doesn't know what exactly is backend also. That's the problem in the industry. Only presentation layer is called as a front end, whereas business layer, this area of the application, and this layer of the application, database plus business layer, that is server plus database, together is called as a backend layer. Server and database together is called as a backend layer. Only server is called as a business layer. Only database is called as database layer. Together are called as backend layer. Whereas only the presentation layer where our client machine is there, where we are hitting the URL application is getting displayed is called as a front end layer. Clear? Bharati, is that clear? Just a technical terms, nothing more than that, Bharati. Okay. Only the presentation layer where the client machine is there is called as a front end layer. The server machine having the code is called as a business layer. The database having the tables or data stored in the form of tables is called as a database layer. Together, this business layer and database layer that we cannot see. You see, when you open the application, guys, can you see the backend layer? What is this layer called as? What is this called as? Whatever you are seeing on the screen is front end. Backend will contain what? The code that is written for developing the application. Can you see if you try like this? Will you be able to see the backend layer? The code that is written for developing the application, can you see? No, right? And can you see the database records of this application? How the data is being stored In the database of the application, can you see when you hit the URL? No, right? That is called as a backend. That's why we are calling it generally as a categorizing properly as a backend layer that you cannot see. Okay, backend means back office that you cannot see. Everyone sees the front thing. What is happening in the background? No one knows, right? Similarly, that's why the name came as backend, front end, backend kind of stuff. Okay. Now, here we have the code, right? Here we have the code. Here we have the code written. That's good. That's great that the code is written here. Now, how you will interact with this code? Directly you will interact with the code. You may think that when I hit the login button, so guys, when you go to the login page and when you enter the credentials here, let's say, okay, the moment you click on this login button, directly you are able to log in, right? You may think that the request is directly being sent to the server machine and the server machine code is being run. You may think not like that, guys. What happens here is APIs will be created. Okay, the developer who has created the written the code for developing the application will also make the APIs available. APIs will be created to access this code. The APIs will be created. You see, when I'm clicking on this Windows machine, this icon, what is happening? I'm getting this option. Okay, how I'm getting the UI layer is connected to the code written. Windows code will be there, right? Somewhere the Windows code will be running in my machine, right? The Windows operating system code and the presentation layer. In between that code and this presentation layer, there is an interface. There is an interface. APIs will be there. Okay, able to get the point? Able to get the point, guys? Okay. So when you are hitting this login button here, this login button is sending a request to the server machine. Server machine will run the code. Whatever the request and responses you are talking about here, right? The request and responses, those are nothing but to the request to happen to this particular code, to the response to be happen to the code, from the response to get back from the code. What are required? What are required? What the developer have to do? Developer have to create something known as what? APIs. This is where APIs will come into picture. In the business layer, which type of testing can be performed in the business layer? In the business layer, which type of testing can be performed? Here, presentation layer is not there. In the business layer, presentation layer is not there. Which type of testing will be performed? API testing will be performed. Okay. In the presentation layer, which type of testing can be performed? UI UX kind of testing can be performed. General functional testing can be performed anywhere. The special type of testing that can be presented, that can be done only in the presentation layer is UI UX testing. The special type of testing that cannot be done in other type of layers of the application but can only be done in the presentation layer is UI UX. But what type of testing can be done in the business layer? Here, can you perform UI UX testing? Here, can you perform the UI UX testing? No. In the business layer, you cannot perform UI UX testing. Here, no UI will be there. A request and response kind of APIs will be there. Okay. That APIs will not contain any UI UX. Fine. Such kind of APIs will be created by who will be creating this APIs? Developers will be developing this APIs. Why the APIs were created here? With this APIs only, you are able to interact with the code. Got it? With this APIs only, application programming interfaces. Got it? Why the name application programming interface? The programming code, if you want to interact with the programming code, APIs are required. So when you hit the login button, okay, login button will call a particular API. That API will interact with the code. Got it? This login button will, okay, the login button will fire the APIs and via the APIs only the code will be interacted. Here, when you click on the login button, some API request will be requested and that request will go and run the code. That's what will happen, guys. Directly login button is not interacting with the code. In between the login button and the presentation layer and this particular thing, there are APIs. There are APIs. So if these APIs are working fine, if these APIs are working fine, you are just, mapping the UI to these APIs. You see, once the house is ready, you'll do all the colors and all, right? This presentation layer is like a colors and all. Colors and, all those, paints and colors and interiors and all is like this presentation layer. Using that presentation layer, you are hitting indirectly, you are hitting the APIs, and APIs are interacting with the code. Okay. To interact with this code, APIs are required. And who will be creating the APIs? The same developers who have built the application can develop these APIs and will give it for the front-end developers. And front-end developers will map this appropriate APIs with the appropriate UI part of the application. And when you click on the login button, if the API is properly mapped, that API will be requested, and along with the API, the code will be interacted. Okay. So APIs are nothing but application programming interfaces. API stands for application programming interfaces. To interact with the code, what are required? For the front end to interact with the code, what is required? APIs are required. Everything is an API. I'll explain more about APIs later, in depth later. For now, understand like this, okay? Now you understood what is a presentation layer, what is a business layer, database layer. Here in the business layer, what will be done in the business layer, guys? The code that is required for building the website will be written here in the server machine. Along with that, the developer also have to, for this particular code, developer will create some APIs. Developer will create some APIs. Okay, that's what happens. Okay, developer will build some APIs. APIs will be created, and this APIs will be used for interacting with the code. And developer will be building both of them. The code will be written for developing the application and put into the server machine. Along with that, developer will also create the APIs. Okay, that's it. Next, what next? Okay, there are many other advantages of APIs and all that I'll cover later. For now, we'll try to see some demos and all today. Okay, so this today is like a demo session, right? So yes, API is like a mediator between the presentation line business layer. You can definitely call that. Who will be creating the APIs? But who will be creating the back APIs? Dev. Yes, developer will be creating the. Okay, creation of the APIs will come into front end or back end. Now I'll ask you, creation of the APIs will come into front end or back end? Will come into back end, definitely back end. Correct. Developing the code of the application will come into front end or back end? Developing the code required for building the application will come into front end or back end? Back end only, not front end. Who is saying front end? That's wrong answer. Front is wrong. For how can you say that is front end? Srinivas ji and Ramya, that is the wrong answer. Developing the code is a backend thing. Here the code is being developed and put in server machine is a backend thing. Business layer, backend thing, right? Backend. Okay. APIs creation is backend. Developing the code for building the application is also backend. Okay. You can see the layer, right? Business layer, database layer, backend only. Okay. You cannot say it's front end. That's wrong answer. Okay. Anyhow, a lot of other major number of people have answered it. Yeah, middle also we can call. It's not complicated. Okay, middle layer, front layer, middle layer, back layer. We can say that. That's okay. But mostly we can say front and back end. That's fine. Okay. Yeah, don't worry about those things for now, Parth. We have a lot of other things to be, internally what happens doesn't matter for us. Okay. Internally what happens doesn't matter for us, Parth. Okay. Ignore that question. Okay. Ignore that question. You don't have to worry about that. How internally it happens is something R&D part. You can go to chat GPT and explore at the next level. Okay, this much is enough. Okay, let's not dig deep how it's happening internally, mechanism and all. You don't have to learn. Okay, fine. Sometimes while driving a car, right, we don't know how the engine is getting started and all those stuff internally, right? We just put the key and turn it on, or you can press and hold the start key, and the car will get turned on. That much of knowledge is enough for us, right? Here also same situation. That much of knowledge is enough. But internally, when you press and hold the start key, how the engine is starting and what is, which one is passing current to which element and how the engine is getting started, we don't have to know that. Okay, that comes into research part. Okay. that comes into research part. Everything has a research, and the kind of depth we go, a lot of questions will come. So if you are interested in such kind of level, right, use ChatGPT, generative AI kind of tools, and get the answers for them, because a lot of tools are there in the market to answer you. But this one is like, is very important. Okay. For if you are learning how to drive a car, you don't have to know how which component inside it of the car is actually starting the engine, right? Externally from the presentation layer, which button you are pressing, that is enough. Okay. Similarly, okay, via some APIs will be created, and the developer need to know like what to be do, and how the APIs will interact with the code and all. The internal part, developers will know it. Okay. If you are a real developer, if you are into the full stack development and all, right, definitely you'll come to know about that. Okay. Fine. Okay. Anyhow, yeah, many names are there. Okay. Yes, you can say business layer as a programming layer, and yeah, I've heard about it, but mainly I'll call it as a business layer only. Okay. Fine. APIs will be created. First code will be created, and for this code, based on the code written, some APIs will be created, and the APIs will be handed over to the front end developer, and front end developer will build the application and map the APIs with the front end part of the application. For example, if you see here, the moment I enter the email address and password, I'll right click inspect here. The moment and I'll go to the network layer, and here no APIs are there. I'll clear. If anything is there also, I'll just okay clear it. And the moment I click on the login button, what happened, guys? Okay, I don't know what happened here, but let's go to the application once again. Okay, go to the login page. I'll give the credentials here. Right click inspect network. I don't know what is happening, but I'll try to click on log. Okay, why internet is not coming? Did I turn it off or so? Yeah, network
Uh,
is offline is there, right? Mm, I'll change it to, maybe I have changed it somewhere. I don't remember when I changed this option. So that's the reason. I'll do it again. Okay,
Arun,
yes.
yeah, I have a doubt here.
Yes, you can ask.
So we do API testing when the presentation part is not available, right?
Hmm. Yes.
So, say for example, there is already we'll take a QA Fox website. It is
Hmm.
already there.
Hmm.
So when we are adding a new feature or new button over there, and it is not yet ready for UI, so we'll do API testing for that particular
Yes, correct.
function.
Definitely correct.
Okay, got it.
Yes, that's correct. Okay. So what happens in real time is, okay, what happens in real time is the UI portion will come late. Okay. The UI part of the application may come late, Building the UI is, for example, if you enter into a house, right, the developer builder would have given you a house for you, right? At that time, presentation may not be there, the interiors won't be there in your house, the colors and all the things won't be there. The draw format thing will be there. That is APIs. Okay. To that APIs, you are coloring and all. Okay. Then the final output will come, right? So presentation layer, this UI part of the application will come later. Okay. First, the developers will write the code for the developed code. Okay, for the developed code, they'll not give you this presentation layer directly. This presentation layer, you'll not get it. Initially, in real time projects when you're working in, API layer will be there. APIs will be there. So initially, we'll be testing the application. This login thing, without UI, you'll be testing with the help of APIs. How to do that and all, I'll cover later. Okay, because our course is all about API testing only. We are here for that reason only. Don't worry. All your questions will be coming to you. Okay. Why API testing is required and when it will be performed. Everything I'll cover now. Don't worry for now. Okay. Which will come first? Which testing will come first? API testing will come first, or UI testing will come first? Generally, in real-time projects, API testing will be done first or UI testing? API testing. UI will take time to get ready. Okay. The UI will take some time to be ready. First, the model will be ready. And to that model, you're putting all the frames and make it look good, right? The different companies will release different type of cars into the market. Okay, before they release the cars into the market, they'll make the presentation very good so that people like it. Before the car is hit to the market, it looks like the scrap kind of item only, but it works. Okay, like that. So API is something where before the UI comes, API testing will be done, but how it will be performed and all I'll cover later. All your questions will be answered, don't worry. So for now, just try to understand like API testing will be done first, then UI testing. But in some companies, already the presentation layer is has come for software testers is given to you, then you will directly start with the presentation layer. If you see, the moment I click on the login button, internally the API is already being tested, yes or no? API testing will be done by tester only. Okay? Testing will be done by tester. Satyanjaya Mohanty. Okay? API testing will be done by tester only. But it will be done first. Before UI testing, API testing will be done. Okay? Before UI testing, API testing can be done. Okay? If you ask me which comes first, I'll say API testing will be done first by the tester, then UI testing will be done next. Okay? That's what I can say. But not always it happens where that according to the client requirements, it will happen where the client wants a proper process, right? Then the testers will perform API testing first, then they'll do the UI testing next. And some cases, what happens, the client will give you the UI part directly. They're okay with that. Okay. Once everything is ready, they want to give it to us. In that case, when you are testing the UI, automatically when I click on the login button, API will be fired, right? Indirectly, you are performing the API testing using the UI testing also. Okay. All these details will come to you later. Don't worry. I'll explain that. So here, I'll go to the network tag. Okay. And here, no request or nothing. The moment I give the enter credentials and click on the login button, a request is being sent to the server. You see, and I got the response. Because of the response only, these things happened. Okay. I'll go here and this is a request. You see, this is a request. Which request method is there here? Which request method is there here, guys? Yeah, Yogesh is asking me, can you cover rest assured also? Yes, not now, Yogesh. After Selenium Java automation, we'll go for rest assured because Selenium Java automation is like opening the doors for you, okay, for automation. Then we'll automate the APIs, okay. First, we'll perform Selenium Java UI testing, then we'll go for the rest assured framework, okay. That will be coming in the upcoming sessions, okay, upcoming days. Clear, Yogesh? Okay, we are going step by step. So we are almost manual testing we are doing. Then we came to the API testing now. After API testing is manual part is over using Postman and all. Then we'll go for Selenium Java automation. Then we have to learn rest assured framework and all those stuff. Okay. That's what is the process. Here, which method is the request method? Post method. Because we are posting it to the email and password, we are posting it to the server machine. We are sending along with the URL, we are also sending the email and password. Okay. Along with this URL, you are also passing the email and password. That's why post is required here. Okay. Post is required. Okay. So this is the response we got, and this is the response we got, and with this response only this page came. Okay. In the response, some token will be there and all. I'll cover later that how to do it and all. Okay. You can see that, right? The UI is actually interacting with the APIs, and while they're interacting with the APIs are interacting with the code. That's how the process is going on. That's why I showed you this example. Okay. Don't think too much here. The moment you click on the login button here from the UI part, the moment you click on the login button from the UI part, APIs are getting interacted, and via the API, the code is being run. Okay. Request and response are nothing but APIs only. Okay. Simple. Testing the requests and responses are working properly or not without the UI part is called as API testing generally. So when you perform the UI testing from the UI, if you are testing the application, indirectly you are performing the API testing without your notice. But there are some situations where in the project, end-to-end projects where you are working on, the developers will take good amount of time to get this UI part ready. They have written the code, but to map the UI with the code, right, it will take a lot of time. So instead of wasting your time testing time, what they will do, developers will prepare the APIs and they'll ask you to perform the testing of the APIs. While you're testing the APIs, developers will build the UI part and map it to the APIs, and that's how the story ends. Okay. Yes, yes. Without first APIs will be there, and with that APIs only you will be ready. Sometimes the software testers may not get the APIs for testing in some projects. You'll be directly given with the presentation layer. Okay, you'll not be asked to perform the API testing. Okay, so it may happen according to project. I am saying, Jay. Got it right? Sometimes the code will be developed and UI will not be given. APIs will be given. That's okay. That's the first you will test the APIs, then you'll go for then they'll map the UI with the APIs and you'll perform the from the UI side also you'll perform the testing. And when you are performing the UI from the UI layer of the application, you are clicking on the login button. Internally, that is invoking this APIs, and APIs are invoking this code. Indirectly, you are testing the APIs without your notice. Sometimes, and some projects that you see, I have worked on several projects. In some very less number of projects, what happened is I was, prone to these APIs. Okay, like they have given me the APIs first without the presentation layer. Then I have tested the APIs. Once we are good, we went to the, they have built the UI part and mapped it with the APIs and asked it to perform testing in some projects. In other projects which I have worked on, directly they give me the application URL and you can hit the URL like this, that the way you are getting these websites and all. I got the application and I have performed the testing directly. Okay. So it depends on project to project and size of the project and all depends. Okay. Not every time you'll get the APIs for testing. But if you are working in big projects and all, like e-commerce applications like Flipkart, Amazon, if you are testing, definitely you will be asked to perform API testing. Okay. In small projects, you will not get the APIs first. Small projects, they will build everything for you, and because the time to be taken for giving a UI layer attached product to the APIs will be kind of less when compared to the big applications. Okay. So it depends on the project to project. Sometimes you'll get APIs for testing, then UI for testing, and a UI layer for testing. Sometimes you'll get the UI layer directly for testing also. It depends on project to project. Yeah, banking applications are also complex applications. Definitely APIs are very important there. Okay. Simple applications like education websites and all. At that case, developers may not give APIs for you for testing. But all the complex applications like banking, insurance, okay, and e-commerce applications, or any other like flight applications, or travel applications, anything. Okay, APIs will be given definitely for testing. They play a key role in testing. Okay, clear, Vinod? In all complex applications like banking, insurance, finance, sales, okay, APIs are will be definitely given. Nowadays, API has become very common where the companies are following, the projects are following the process where you have to first perform the API testing, then you will go for the UI testing. Okay, that is a very dedicated process is being created nowadays, and the kind of okay, projects that we are working are following the Agile SDLC model, Agile SDLC model, Scrum methodology we are following. Definitely APIs will be there during the process. Fine. Now, at a high level, I explained you what is APIs and all those stuff. Okay. But the actual clear reality is not there. But this explanation is very important. Okay. If you understand this, if you understand this, different layers of the application, front end, back end, and the front end presentation layer, in the back end business and database layer, and in the business layer there will be the back end business layer, you will have the code written that it will be hosted in the server machine. For this code you will create interfaces like APIs, and this APIs will be attached with the UI layer of the application, and that's how the application will be built. Without the UI layer, if you are testing only the APIs, that is called as API testing. Okay, you see there is no particular definition for APIs, guys. Okay, application programming interface. This UI part of the application, presentation part of the application is interacting with this code with the help of this APIs. That's give all the explanation. When someone asks you what is API, API stands for application programming interfaces. So developer will write the code for building the application, and to invoke that particular code that is hosted in the server machine, developers will also create APIs. That APIs, the front end developer will take and map it with the front end part layer of the presentation layer of the application, and that's how the things will be done. They can explain like that. Okay, APIs. That's nothing but APIs, guys. There's no special definition for API, but it all depends on how you answer in the interviews. Okay, that's what APIs are. Clear, everyone? Everyone clear with this? Just type C in the chat box if you are clear with what is an API. API stands for application programming interface, and this is how it is there. Okay. There's no particular definition for API, but we should be able to understand it and explain it to communicate with other people. Like, this is what I understood about API. I would explain. That's what is API, nothing much. Okay. There's no special definition for APIs. Yeah, many things will be there. Yes, it will be there. Okay. Many things will be there. I'll explain them later. Okay. We can learn a lot of things about APIs and all. Okay. All those things will come later. Okay. Surya Teja. Yes, APIs will be there for everything. You see, APIs will be internal APIs will be there. Okay. I explained the APIs at a higher level, but internally also APIs will be there. Internally also APIs will be there. Okay. To perform each and every task using this code, by running this code, APIs are required definitely. Okay. Whatever you said is also for that APIs will be required. Okay. Whatever you said for that also APIs will be required. Okay. Anything else? All good, right? So you got some idea, basic understanding of all this stuff. What I'll do here is I'll just take a screenshot of this and provide these notes in the Telegram group. You can take this from the Telegram group. Okay. Okay. Done. Great. So guys, with this note, we'll stop here for today. Okay. The next session is not going to be a demo session. Today is like demo session. My existing students have joined today's session along with the existing students. A lot of other people from outside have attended this demo. Okay. So if you have liked this demo session, right, you can talk to my team member Javed and all and get yourself enrolled into the course. Okay. So the next weekend onwards, again, the next session will be on the weekend. That is 3rd and 4th. Okay. And 3rd and 4th, we have the session on the weekends where I'll continue the API testing for the enrolled people. Okay, Avinash is asking me a question meanwhile. How will you perform API testing in your organization? Yeah, you have to tell them like, how it starts. You have to tell, if I'm that person who got this question, from my experience, I'll answer like this, okay? I have worked on several end-to-end projects in my company, okay? So in our company, the process is something like this, where, we all people, developers are there in the same company, testers are there in the same company, front-end developers are there, okay? Back-end developers are there in the same company, mobile developers are there in the same company. We have an architect, we have a, project manager and all those people. Okay, I'll explain all this stuff, okay? And the client has simply given a requirement from us, and we have started from gathering the requirements to the delivering the project till the end, okay? That's how we played a role. And, what happened was like once the mock-up screens, like, UI developers have created some mock screens like this, how the application should look like. Okay. So then the backend developers have written the code for developing such kind of things, and they have created the APIs, and they have done some documentation. In, in my case, they have shared the API documentation in the form of Word document, how the request should be there, how the response should come, okay, what are the parameters should be entered, okay, all those things they have given to me in the form of documentation, and they shared it over email. We have downloaded the document from the email. We have taken the document from the email, and according to the document, we have performed the testing using the APIs that are there in the document to see whether the APIs are working fine or not. This is what I will answer in my case. Okay, Avinash? They'll understand it. Okay. You see, I am speaking for my real time thing, right? Whatever really I have done API testing in my company. Okay. In my previous projects and all that I have worked on, I've done API testing. So I will answer like this. Okay. They'll not get a feeling. Okay. Different companies, different processes will be followed. In my case, that is a process I am clearly explaining. Okay. Developers have developed the APIs and they have documented in a proper Word document and they have shared it to me. Okay. Then I have using that documentation, I have started testing the APIs. If I get it out, I really went to the developer and asked them also. Okay. It happens. In some companies, developers will give you Swagger documentation they will give you. Okay. Different ways they will share the APIs with you that you have to perform testing on. When the before the UI layer presentation layer is available for testing the application, developers may create this kind of documentation in a Word document, Excel document, or website page, or they also giving the Swagger documentation if they are following strict norms and all. Depends. Okay, different ways you'll get the APIs documented in a document and all. Okay, according to the developed APIs, they'll document them and give it to us. And as software testers, we'll receive the document and we'll perform the testing of the APIs in that are there in the documents. Okay, that's how it will be done. Okay, so many other things are there, guys. Okay, what is the difference between API and web service and client server communication? Many other things about APIs are there. We are just there in the beginning. Okay, that I'll cover in the next weekend, guys. Next weekend on, that will start on We are almost at 27th of April, right? So that is next weekend will be 3rd. Okay. On 3rd, we'll continue with the next parts. From next weekend onwards, I will take 2.5 hours. Okay. 2.5 hours on Saturday, 2.5 hours on today's demo session, right? I'm not taking 2.5 hours, but next session onwards, that is from Saturday onwards, the 3rd of May onwards, I'll be taking 2.5 hours on Saturday, 2.5 hours on Sunday. So it will be totally 5 hours. Okay. On the weekend. Yeah, that I'll explain, Nirmal. I'll explain that using Postman tool. We can use some tools like Postman and many other tools are there in the market. How to do that testing of APIs without using the UI layer of the application with the help of Postman tool, I'm going to cover in the upcoming sessions. Okay, Nirmal? We have to take the help of Postman tools for performing the testing. And many other. Postman is one of the tools. We have many other tools, okay, for doing that. Yeah, any other questions? Yes, any other questions related to this session? Yeah, I'm going very depth, right? The kind of, yeah. Thank you, for Srinivas, for the feedback. That the session is good. Yeah. So this is how I will cover, guys. This is how I'll cover all the sessions and all. Yeah, we can do a, okay, data-driven testing can be done. Okay, can be done. You see, it can be done. Okay, there are ways how to perform data-driven testing. Currently, we are in the manual thing. Data-driven testing will go into the automation if I properly understand your question. Okay. Vishwa is asking me the question. Data-driven testing also we are covering as part of. Yes, we can cover. What is there in data-driven testing means same API will be there, different type of data you will pass. In manual, how you will pass? Same request will be there. For that, the email password and everything, different sets of data you'll pass. Okay, that is data-driven testing in general reality. How it can be automated will be explained in the rest assured automation. Yeah, thank you, Vidya, for the feedback. Thank you, Sarita. Yeah, thank you, Bharati, for the good feedback. No, I'll be using Eclipse only, Uday Godkar, right? I'll be using Eclipse ID only, not IntelliJ, because a lot of people will, IntelliJ will make the things complex, so I don't want to go there. Later, you can migrate to IntelliJ when required. Yeah, thank you, Sailaja, for the feedback.
Sir, uh,
Yes,
uh, sir, what is middleware API testing, sir, actually? Middleware, uh, you know,
middleware means
actually,
something that is there in the middle, right? It is just a terminology, okay? Just
okay,
terminology. Middleware means something that is there in the middle, okay? Something that is there between your UI presentation layer and the code is called as middle layer. Got it right? Presentation layer, backend layer, and middle layer. Some people will categorize like this. Okay, it's okay, guys. Okay, it's not you understood the concept.
yeah.
What can be middle? APIs will be in middle. Okay, that's you have to understand. It's just a terminology. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Ramya, for the feedback. Thank you, Avinash, for the feedback. Vishwa is asking me another question. No Excel. We are passing different data using collection runner through Postman. Yeah, there are many ways. See, there are many ways.
My question, Aaron, like, we no need to go for rest assured in the Postman itself,
Yeah,
there is
yeah.
a
Nowadays,
collection runner
Postman,
option.
the Postman can also be used for automation testing also, Vishwa, but I'll not be covering that part. Okay. The Postman has evolved so much that you can also do automation testing using Postman, but I'm not going to uh, explain Postman that level, okay, in the beginning. Maybe first, initially, we'll do with manual testing and we'll depend on rest assured. And later, if you really see that edge, right, we'll also go there for the Postman using automation, data driven testing using Postman and all those stuff. A lot of features will be there. And if you have any questions, you can go for Chat GPT or, Postman documentation is there. Okay, everything can be achieved. Okay, you see, it's like an ocean, right? Anything can be like an ocean. Okay, so you can search for the documentation of the Postman. From the tool, I know how to go to that documentation and all. From here, we have to see like what is the documentation, resource and support, learning hub. Go to the learning hub, Postman docs. You go. Okay, many things have come into the market. Okay, so data driven. I don't know whether they have given. Okay. It's a very big ocean kind of stuff. No one can know everything, right? So here also same thing, okay? So you can explore this documentation and you'll get all your answers, Vishwa. Okay?
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. You see, a lot of tools are there, a lot of concepts are there, a lot of things are there. We cannot learn everything. What we have to do, we have to be in a kind of mode where, we should be ready to do it. At least we know how to do it, that's okay. Like how to get the solution is okay. It's not like, you have to learn everything. No one knows everything, right? Even in Selenium Java also, thousands of commands are there. Can we know each and every command? No, right? Whatever that are generally used, that we'll know it, right? Here also in the Postman also, many things are there. Postman becomes a very big subject also at the same time. Okay, a lot of features are there, a lot of things are there. Don't have to go too depth. Okay, if there is a requirement in your company, you can explore using ChatGPT, Google search, and all those stuff, and get the solutions easily. Okay, how to perform data-driven testing in Postman? You type, you'll get. You see, that's how the era we are at. Okay, we should not learn everything. We have to, based on your requirement, you have to get the solutions. Okay, how to use Postman for performing API testing in a data driven way. You see, you are getting the answer. Open Postman. Okay, set up the API request you want to test. Save it as a set collection. Okay, but you have to understand what is a collection. I didn't explain so far, right? Later I'll explain. To prepare the test data, you have two main options. Like generally, I prefer using JSON. You have multiple sets of data you have given here. Okay, in your request like body or URL Postman, you just give like this kind of stuff where you can pass the username, you can get the password and all those stuff. Okay, use variables in the request. Use variables in the request. To that variables, you'll get this username and password. Okay, we can see it. No, if it is really required, we can explore that. And how to use it in Postman, we can try it out. Not a problem. But basics are really required for getting that done. Okay. Yeah, I'm just answering the questions, Piyush, but we have not gone too depth. I'm just explaining the questions since it's a demo session, right? A lot of people are asking me the questions. Okay, I just explained the concepts only. Okay, only this theoretical part I covered today, Piyush. Okay, real API testing is not started using Postman tool. Okay.
Hello, Arun.
No, I don't. Actually, I don't have any checklist for performing API testing. I don't needed that, but nowadays, if you want a checklist, also ChatGPT is there. You can find it out. But I'll explain you how to do the API testing and all. A lot of other sessions are there. This is just the first session only, right? Many other sessions are there. You can see the notes here. How many are there? What is API? Single path API versus multiple APIs. Use of tools in API testing. HTTP methods. How to download, install, and register Postman. Everything I'm going to cover. What is API testing again? It's already completed, but maybe second variation. Application architectures, protocol types. What is the difference between SOAP and REST? REST versus REST API versus RESTful APIs. What is the difference? Synchronous APIs versus asynchronous APIs. JXRS, Print MVC, and all those stuff. Different forms of APIs. Web APIs, local APIs, programming APIs. All these are the topics of our API testing things. Okay. I'll cover behind this. Okay. A lot of other things are there. Yeah, next weekend. Marti, the classes will resume on the next weekend. That is May 3rd. Okay, May 3rd and 4th. 2.5 hours on Saturday, 2.5 hours on Sunday. It's a weekend sessions. Weekday sessions, we are going with manual testing. After manual testing sessions are coming covered on the weekdays, we'll start the Selenium automation sessions on the weekdays. Along with the API testing, parallelly on weekends, API testing sessions will be done for a while until the API testing using Postman manual is completed. On the weekdays, the manual testing we are almost at the end, and after the manual testing sessions are done, we'll go for the Selenium automation session, Selenium Java automation. Yeah, we'll be covering a lot of other stuff, Sarita. Yes, and we are covering. Okay. There are different ways. At what point of time we have to cover what we are deciding. Okay. Okay, Sarita. Yeah, someone is asking me the question. You can ask me.
Yeah, Arun, can we have next session also as a demo?
No, no, not possible. Okay, this
No,
is only the demo.
asking, yeah, no, asking why, because this session you have given only high level introduction on APIs, right?
Yes.
You have not given any
No, this is the only demo
demo.
session we are providing. Okay. We will not provide any other demo session. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other question? Okay. Fine, guys. That's all for the demo, today's demo. Hope you like the demo. If you are really interested in joining our upcoming sessions and all right, you can reach out to my team member Javed. You can find his details in the group, Telegram group. Okay, here are the details of Javed. You can reach out to Javed and via Telegram group or your Telegram ID or WhatsApp. Okay, whatever it is, and try to enroll yourself. So there are two things going on if you enroll. One thing is on the weekends, API testing sessions will go on. On the weekdays, manual testing sessions are continuing for a while, maybe 1 week or 2 weeks, according to the things people are asking me. And once that additional topics of manual testing are completed, right, we'll start Selenium Java automation sessions on the weekdays. Okay, that's the plan for the upcoming days. Yeah, thank you, Amit. Welcome. Welcome, Amit. Yeah, welcome, Navnath. So, bye everyone. Take care. See you in the upcoming sessions. Bye.